Lesson 49 is all about multiplication of polynomials. Now the first question that we have says, multiply. Write the answer in descending order of the variable. So when we see this, we know that we have to distribute. If we're going to distribute, we're going to multiply the 4x times x squared first. So 4x times x squared is our first part. Then we're going to subtract, because the problem tells us to, the product of 4x and 2. Then we're going to multiply 4x times 2. From here we can simplify. Well, 4x times x to the second power, that must be 4x to the third power. Minus, and then we have 4x times 2. Well, 4 times 2, we need to simplify those in order to get 8x. So we get 4x to the third minus 8x. We've written the answer in descending order of the variable. Using the distributive property helps us to simplify this expression. Let's move on to our next example. We want to multiply. We want to write the answer in descending order of the variable. Now this problem has two binomials. The first binomial within parentheses, it's binomial because there's two terms. The second binomial in parentheses because there's two terms in there. The method that we're going to use for this is called the FOIL method. F-O-I-L. Now the FOIL method stands for first, outer, inner, and last. And this FOIL method is fantastic because it will help us whenever we have a problem where we're multiplying two binomials. First, okay, the first, that refers to this. It refers to multiplying the first two numbers in both of our binomials, or the first number in each of the binomials. So I'm going to put an F here for FOIL, for first. So 4x times 3x. That's our first part. Then we have, the outer numbers. The outer numbers, if we look at that, the outer numbers, here's an outer number, and here's an outer number because they're on the outside of our parentheses. Okay, here's our O for F-O-I-L. So then we're going to say 4x, and we're multiplying it times a negative 2. So we're going to have minus 4x times 2. Because the problem tells us it's negative. Okay, we've got the F-O, now we need the I. And before we get the I, we're getting a little tight in here on space. So let's go ahead and we're just going to move this part. We'll take the O and we'll bring it back up here. Okay, O should be in blue, not in green. And now we're back to where we should be. Now we've got the I next, F-O-I-L, inner, the inner numbers, well, the inner numbers are the ones that are right next to each other. So we're going to multiply those. We've got our i's. We've got plus 5 times 3x. And then we have our last numbers. Our last numbers, just as it sounds, they're the numbers that happen last. What color haven't we used? Looks like a brown color would be safe here. The last numbers in each of our binomials. Here's our L. And we've got the last part. We've got 5 times negative 2. So we're going to write minus 5 times 2. And now with all this, we can go ahead and simplify to find our answer. 4x times 3x, that must be 12x squared. Minus, we've got 4 times 2, that's 8, minus 8x, plus, we have 5 times 3x, 5 times 3 is 15, so we must get plus 15x, and then we have minus 5 times 2, that's 10. Now when we use this FOIL method, we'll always have something to simplify in the middle. This time we have negative 8x plus 15x. When we add those like terms, we must be left with plus 7x. So we're going to rewrite. We're going to have 12x squared plus 7x minus 10, and we've got our final answer. We've written it in the descending order of the variable because we've got the 2, the highest degree first, then the 1, then the 0, and we're all done. Let's look at our next problem. We want to multiply and write the answer in descending order of the variable. So with this one, 3x plus 2 squared, we need to rewrite. we're going to rewrite this as 3x plus 2 times 3x plus 2. Because when we square a number, it always means to multiply it by itself. So we're going to use that FOIL method, F-O-I-L, first, outer, inner, last. So the first numbers that we have, well, we've got 3x times 3x. Then our outer numbers come next. Well, our outer numbers, we have 3x and 2. So we're going to get plus 3x times 2. Our inner numbers, 2 and 3x, so we're going to get plus 2 times 3x. And our last numbers, L, we're going to get 2 times 2. The important thing when you multiply binomials like this is that you multiply each one against every other one in the different set of parentheses. The FOIL method helps us to do that. So when we simplify, we're going to get 3 times 3, that's 9, and x times x is x squared. Plus 3 times 2 is 6, and we've got an x, so plus 6x. Then we've got a plus 6x again, and plus 2 times 2, well, that must be 4. We can simplify finally. We're going to get 9x squared, and 6x plus 6x is 12x, plus 4. We've written the answer in descending order based on the variable, and we're all done. We can go ahead and box our answer and look at our next question. Let's multiply. Write the answer in descending order of the variable. So this one we're multiplying a binomial against a trinomial. So we don't have the FOIL method in this one, but what we do is we're just going to take the 4x, first we're going to multiply it times x squared, times x squared. We've got an x here. Then we're going to multiply our 4x times x, so it's going to be plus 4x times x, and then we're going to multiply it against the last thing. That's the 4. So we're going to get plus 4x times 4. Fantastic. We've got the first half of our problem done. Now we're going to take the negative 2, and we're going to multiply it against the first term. We're going to get negative 2 times x squared. Then we're going to multiply it against the second term in the trinomial, and we're going to get negative 2 times x. So minus 2 times x. Then we're going to multiply it against the last term in our trinomial, and we're going to get negative 2 times 4. And from here, all we have to do is simplify to find our answer. So 4x times x squared must be 4x to the third power. Then we have plus 4x times x. Well, that must be plus 4x squared. Plus 4x times 4. Well, that's going to be 16x minus 2x squared. We didn't need to simplify that one. Minus 2x, already simplified for us. And then minus 2 times 4. That's 8. So we've got a little bit of simplifying to continue with. We only have one x to the third power here, and we have 4 of them. So we're going to have 4x to the third. But we can see we've got multiple x squared. So we've got an x squared. We've got a negative 2x squared. We're going to add those together. 4 plus negative 2, that's 2. So we get plus 2x squared. Then we can look at the x's, and you can see we've got 16x's, negative 2x's. Add those together. We're going to have to get 16 plus negative 2, that's 14. So we get plus 14x minus 8. We can box it. We've written the answer in descending order of the variable, and we can move on to our next question. Lesson practice will be on page 199. Make sure you've got your notes complete. Write down any questions that you have, and I'll see you during our next class.